Hello everyone, and welcome back to Playing Tick. Today, we embark on a journey back in time to uncover the captivating tale of the Titanic, a ship whose name has become synonymous with both grandeur and tragedy. Our story begins at the turn of the 20th century, a time when two mighty shipping companies, White Star Line and Cunard, were locked in a fierce battle for supremacy on the high seas. Cunard had just unveiled two magnificent ships, the Mauretania and the Lusitania, which had set new benchmarks for speed and luxury. Faced with this challenge, White Star knew they had to respond with something truly extraordinary. Enter Bruce Ismay, the visionary chairman of White Star, and William J. Peary, the master shipbuilder at Harland and Wolff. Together, they conceived a plan so ambitious, it would change the course of maritime history. They would build not one, not two, but three colossal ships, each one larger and more opulent than anything the world had ever seen. These ships would come to be known as the Olympic-class liners. Construction on the second of these titans, the Titanic, began in 1909 at the Harland and Wolff shipyard in Belfast, Ireland. It was a Herculean undertaking that required the skills and labor of 3,000 men toiling for nearly 3 years. When the Titanic finally emerged from the shipyard, it was a sight that defied belief. At 882 feet long and 92.5 feet wide, it was the largest moving object ever created by human hands. But the Titanic was more than just a marvel of size, it was a floating palace of unparalleled luxury. From the elegant first-class accommodations to the relatively comfortable third-class quarters, the Titanic offered a level of service and amenities that had never been seen before on a ship. It boasted grand dining saloons, opulent lounges, a gymnasium, a swimming pool, and even a Turkish bath. It was a ship designed to cater to every whim and fancy of its passengers. However, beneath all this grandeur lurked a fatal flaw. The Titanic's design included a system of watertight compartments that led many to believe the ship was unsinkable. But the tragic reality was that these compartments had a critical weakness: the bulkheads between them did not extend all the way to the top of the ship. In the event of a breach, water could spill over from one compartment to another, spelling doom for the ship. Another critical oversight was the inadequate number of lifeboats. The Titanic could carry over 3,300 passengers and crew, but it had lifeboat capacity for only around 1,200. This decision, while shockingly insufficient by modern standards, actually exceeded the requirements set by the British Board of Trade at the time. When the Titanic set sail on its maiden voyage on April 10, 1912, it carried with it a microcosm of society. Among the 2,240 souls on board were some of the wealthiest and most prominent figures of the age, such as John Jacob Astor IV, the richest man on the ship, and his pregnant young wife Madeline. There was also Isidor Straus, the co-owner of Macy's department store, and his devoted wife Ida, who chose to remain with him even in the face of death. But the majority of the passengers were humble immigrants in third class, dreaming of a new life in America. They came from all over Europe, each with their own hopes and aspirations. For them, the Titanic represented not just a journey, but the promise of a better future. As we all know, that promise was tragically cut short. On the night of April 14th, the Titanic struck an iceberg and began to sink. Despite the ship's advanced technology and the heroic efforts of its crew, the damage was too severe. Over the course of a few desperate hours, the Titanic slowly disappeared beneath the waves, taking with it the lives of over 1,500 passengers and crew. The sinking of the Titanic sent shockwaves around the world. It was a tragedy on an unprecedented scale, one that exposed the hubris of an age that believed in the invincibility of human progress. In the aftermath, questions were raised about the lack of lifeboats, the inadequate safety procedures, and the failure to heed warnings about ice in the ship's path. But more than that, the Titanic became a symbol of the human stories that were lost that fateful night. Each passenger, whether rich or poor, had a unique life story, a web of relationships, and dreams for the future. The tragedy of the Titanic is not just in the numbers, but in the incalculable human potential that was cut short. Today, more than a century later, the story of the Titanic continues to captivate us. It has inspired countless books, films, and documentaries, each seeking to understand the enduring fascination we have with this ship and its fate. Perhaps it's because the Titanic represents the best and worst of human nature, our capacity for great achievement and our vulnerability to the forces of nature and chance. In the end, the legacy of the Titanic is one of remembrance and reflection. It reminds us of the fragility of life, the consequences of our choices, and the interconnectedness of our human stories. It is a tale that will continue to be told as long as we seek to understand ourselves and our place in the world. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the past. We hope you found this exploration of the Titanic as captivating as we have. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to Plain Tick for more adventures.